Hi, John Belsavara here, talking to you today about classifications with games. Now, again, this whole unit is all about making your own game. So when you're thinking about classification, think about your own game and how it's going to be classified and that sort of thing. To get started, I would suggest grabbing this link here and just having a look around. Okay, so I've already got it open here. I'm going to say look around, put in some games that you're familiar with. See what they're classified as. Call of Duty, G. The reason being is because it's the mobile version, not specified. That's why it's G. Jump through a few pages. You'll see Advanced Warfare, Modern Warfare 3, MA15+. Strong themes, violence, online interactivity makes it MA15+, which is interesting. Cool, so pause the video here, have a bit of a look around for a minute or two, and come back. Welcome back. Let's go through. So is classification important? From what you've seen, have a think of whether you'd answer yes or no to this. I'm not going to say yes or no, but I'll give you some reasons that you've probably got already. It's important that that a consumer, or that a person wanting to watch a video or to play a video game, can have a quick look and just say, okay, this has got strong violence in it, and they know what to expect from this game. Whether they're buying it for like their child, whether they want to play it for themselves, they get some sort of understanding of what they're in for, I suppose, and they know whether they can share the content with the younger audience or whether they shouldn't in different cases. There are different classifications. These are the ones that exist across Australia, not necessarily in each individual state, but across Australia this is what you've got. Okay, that's the website link again. Consumer advice, what is it? If you know, that's awesome. If you're not sure, basically it's just this little notes on the side here: strong violence, etc. Letting the consumers know what it's about. A consumer is just someone that watches the content or uses the content. Okay, how is the classification of games different to the classification? Sorry, how is classification of film different to the classification of video games? Now, it's kind of tricky to find, but the main thing you've got to realize is that when you're watching a film, you kind of you're sitting back and you're watching it. You're not taking a part in what's happening in the film. You're just watching other people do things. In a video game, you're actually doing the things. So if those things are violent, to a varying degree, right? If you're watching it, that's one thing. But if you're actually the one causing the violence in the game, kind of makes it a bit more extreme, I suppose. And that might be why something that might be M in a film is MA in a video game. Okay, so there is a difference there, and that's the main sort of difference. Okay, so M versus MA15+. If you're 15 or over, you can view or play MA15+ films and games by yourselves. If you're under 15, you cannot view or play MA15+ unless accompanied by a parent or guardian. There's some laws that come into it, but I'll talk about those in a sec. These are the 6 elements that are taken into account when you're trying to classify whether a film or a game is G or MA15+. So the themes that are involved, so like within the story, is there love or revenge or whatever else it might be that's a theme. Violence, the levels of violence that are involved, sex, the language that's used, whether they're swearing, that sort of thing, any drug use, and any nudity as well. Okay, all these things taken into account to give it a rating. Classification. G, so themes, very low sense of threat or menace, and they have to be justified by context. So you can't just have revenge for the sake of revenge. There has to be some sort of context, and they can't be threatening or menacing in any way. Okay. Violence, low sense. Sexual activity, very mild, very discreetly implied. Coarse language, very mild and infrequent. So they don't actually specify on the website, at least, what the level of frequency is, or the different words. But obviously, G, you would assume any particularly bad, coarse language wouldn't be involved. Drug use, only very, very discreetly, and it has to be justified by context. Nudity, justified by context. MA 15 plus. Oops. It's unsuitable for 15 years. It is a legally restricted category. What that means is that if a 14-year-old goes into a game store and tries to buy an MA 15 plus game, it's illegal for the game store to sell it to them, and they can actually get different fines and things for that. So themes, they can be a bit stronger, still justified by context. Violence justified by context. Still a lot of justified by context happening here. R18 plus. Themes, there's basically no restriction on themes. Violence is allowed. Sex can be simulated, but the real thing, no. So if you're wondering the difference between R and X, that's the difference. Language, there are no restrictions on language. Drug use is permitted. Nudity is permitted for the R18 plus category. So R18 plus in relation to video games, the Australian government allowed it across the whole of the country, but state governments then have to set the law as to how they're going to make it work. In Victoria, it's allowed, and here are some restrictions that come about. So if someone shows an R18 game to a minor, there's up to 2 years imprisonment. If someone sells an R18 game to a minor, it's up to 6 months imprisonment. And if someone were to, just leave a video game or a movie or something in like a public place or something like that, up to 1 year imprisonment there. And that's the link of where all that's sort of coming from. And so that's sort of the end of the classifications. Okay, so that's sort of what helps classify film, but games. Okay, so obviously when we're making our games, it's going to be suitable for all ages. Okay, so they have to be G basically. Game types. All right. So, to you, what's the most important feature of a game? Have a think. Is it the gameplay? Is it the graphics? Is it the storyline? Is it the soundtrack that comes along with it? Is it how easy or how challenging it is? Is it the depth of content that's available? What's important to you for a game to be good? I suppose there's different genres. Okay, so there's platform games. Basically, what we're going to be making is a platform game, sort of like Super Mario. Especially just because we're online, it might be tricky to do other things, but platformer game like Super Mario, right? So you're running across the screen, you jump up, go across, and it sort of the screen scrolls across as you run across. That's a platform game. Escape game, puzzle game. You're trying to solve something as part of it. Children's game, so it's very suited for a younger audience. Educational, shooter, self-explanatory. So software, this is a bit of a recap of what we've done in Year 8, but it needs to sort of be addressed. So software, there's two types of software. There's operating software, like your Windows or your Mac. It's operating software, OS. It controls the hardware, right? It tells the hardware what to do. It tells the screen to make this appear. It tells your keyboard to send commands to the applications and that sort of thing. And it manages all the applications. So if you've got 10 different applications, the operating system is sort of saying, yep, like here's some storage for you, here's some memory for you, here's some processing power for you. Okay. The application software is just a single application like OneNote, like Outlook, like Call of Duty, okay, or iTunes, whatever else. It provides a single service. Or it can do more services, but like it provides a service as part of its application. Hardware, again, there's a bit of a recap from what we've done last year. So we're going to compare two consoles, all right? So it could be, PlayStation versus Xbox is what usually tends to come up. You pick which one is versing which one. It could be PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One. Or it could be PlayStation 4 versus Xbox 360. Whichever two you like, or it could be your PC at home versus PlayStation, whatever. Or you look at the processing power, okay, the storage, and any protection, how it keeps data safe, so like antiviruses and things like that. There'll be a bit of research involved here. I just want to show you, just really quickly, I suppose, what my computer has got. Just open this up. So yeah, this PC, you can see here, this is the storage. This is how much space I've got left on it to store things, applications, photos, whatever else. All these documents and things, all stored here on this C drive. I've got 125 gig free. So it's talking about the storage, the processing power. You'll be able to Google this for your consoles. For the PC, just right click on it, go properties. And you can see it's a Intel Core i5, okay, which is the processor. And it's got 1.6 gigahertz and 1.8 gigahertz, which is the speed of how fast the processor, like the brain of the computer, works. If memory comes up, that's 8 gig. Memory is like the short-term memory. So all these applications that you've got open are sort of sitting in the memory, ready to be sort of fed into the processor. Okay. If you have too many applications open at once, you'll run out of memory. Okay. And protection, like antivirus or anything like that. Who are the best developers? Is Blizzard better than EA? Like, just pick one developer and say why they're the best. I think perhaps because we're online, maybe just pick one of these two activities. Okay, so either look at the hardware or pick a developer and tell me why they're the best, or tell me which console's the best. And you can do that however you like. Right? You can make a PowerPoint, you can do a poster on a Canva, pictochart, whatever you like. You can do a Word document. Make sure there's like pictures and stuff in it though, so it's a bit more interesting to read. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Any questions or anything, just give me an email. Thanks.